What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Cage My IQ Presents. Joining with me today is UFC featherweight Damon Jackson. How's it going, Damon?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I am doing good. They just announced not too long ago that you're going to be going up against Patsabatini. Uh, I've heard from a couple interviews that you've done in the past that you like to get back into the swing of things. You like to get as many fights in as you can. This is actually one of your longest training camps that you're going to have in a couple years. How do you feel about having a longer period of time to train for a fight than usual?
I'm actually preparing for the Dallas card. I'm hoping someone falls out and I get to step in on that. So it's definitely not my favorite thing. It's a long camp. You gotta time it a lot different. You gotta make sure you're not overtraining. You're not like beating your body up too early. So you kind of get put in a weird spot. So if a short notice comes up in Dallas for 155, hopefully I can step in on that, take that fight, and then fight him again and that would make me happy. But this long layoff, I don't like it.
Yeah, but before we get into that fight that you have with Sabatini, just going into your early life, it says here that you used to play high school baseball, you did track, and then wrestling. Doing all that, how did you wind up getting into MMA?
Just from wrestling. I was a big fan of the UFC before I started wrestling, but I noticed that there was a lot of wrestlers that dominated the sport like real early on. So whenever I saw that was really the only martial art that I could, really get to in the town that I grew up in. There wasn't really anything else. So I started wrestling, and then after that, I started doing jiu-jitsu and worked my way into kickboxing.
That was going to be one of the next things I was going to ask you is that why you chose to do jiu-jitsu, because that's basically your strength is you getting on the mat and then just the transitions, the submissions. Is that something that just gravitated you to it because of the wrestling background?
Yeah, I started wrestling just so I could make it to the UFC, and then I started doing jiu-jitsu in high school just to think that that maybe that once I got in there, if I could take someone down, if I could finish them, it'd be good. And so far my whole career it's been kind of based around me grappling, like taking someone down and subbing them. So this is definitely a tough matchup for that. It's going to be a test for sure on who's the better grappler. This is going to be a tough fight for both of us for sure.
And the next month or two, we got a lot of you and your teammates at Fortis MMA that are going to be fighting on these next few cards. How's the camaraderie there at Fortis MMA?
Oh man, we love it. We cheer each other on. Like yesterday, we were kind of getting together watching the Matt Chanel fight, and just seeing him come through that fight was just phenomenal. And seeing the way he battled back was just really cool to watch. And that's what it's all about. We got Kennedy last week that came in there and just looked like a freaking stud out there wrestling like a madman. It was just it's not his style, and he did it. He changed the game plan up, and he did exactly what coach wanted. And we have these big fights coming up, and it's just cool. Like seeing Sam Hughes get on a little win streak, and she's looking good now. And she's we have a full team, man. It's nice when everything kind of clicks and everybody starts winning together. People start recognizing us again because we are one of the best teams in the world, and one of us is going to be fighting for a title here soon. We got Macy comes up the week before me, and then I fight the week after her. And there's a lot of fights coming up for sure.
Yeah, then you even had Ryan Spann, who had that nice finish against Ian Kutalaba.
Yeah.
He did that. That gym switch for Sam Hughes was a huge difference for her. She's starting to use her strengths to her advantages now. She looks like a completely different fighter since coming down to Texas from Washington. I love everything that I see with her. She gets the fight to the cage. She gets the fight to the ground. She knows what she needs to do to win. And she looks like a top 15 fighter, in my opinion, now. She's just dominating fights now. And, do you get to train people at all there? I know, of course, you're preparing for your own fights, but do you help out with any of the other fighters with the grappling or jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, everyone that comes to me, like if they ever want to like, see one of my setups, like we kind of all do that. We have one coach at the gym, so
Yeah.
it's like all the fighters, we kind of work with each other. We'll hold pads for each other, or we'll grapple with each other. Like we'll come in on Sunday, or whatever day we don't have practice, and we'll go over something that we're catching each other with. So it's just that we got a team full of just great talent, and you can learn everyone's style if you just go up and ask them. And we have a really tight team like that. So any questions, they're always answered. And teammates are the best way to learn, just to get in there and do it. And if you have someone that's got that style, you can get in there and mix it up with them. It's the best way to learn.
And you brought him up too, Kenny and Cheku. Did you have any help with helping him out with his game plan? Because I didn't expect him to get the fight to the ground at all. I expected him to
Yeah,
go, because he's known for the stand up, being patient, and then kind
yeah.
of countering, and has not got power. And he just ran in there and just wrestled and got the finish later on. I was just ecstatic because I'm a good fan of his, and to see him do that, to add that new wrinkle into his game, was kind of shocking.
Yeah, no, it kind of shocked everyone because that was the discussion that him and coach had, like the day of the fight. So that was something that I wasn't prepared to watch that, and to see him transition the way he did was really impressive because he's definitely not known for his grappling, but people don't see that side of people. Like in the gym, we see it all, and I see him grapple with Ryan Spann, I see him grapple with bigger guys like that, and he can hold his own, and he's really hard to just kind of he's hard to control on the ground. And there's a lot of guys that try to control him, and he does really good with just moving around for his big body. He does real good with not getting stuck in places. So, he's working his butt off, man. The whole team is, and we're gonna have a good year. We're gonna finish it out strong, and then come into next year, and we'll be looking for those titles for sure.
Now, how was that extended regional scene career for you? How did that help you prepare for your second stint in UFC? I know you did
Yeah.
King of the Cage. You were in UFC for a couple fights. You did a couple fights in Bellator. You were in LFA for 8 fights, and then you even did that one fight in PFL. How was that experience?
Yeah,
Just
no, it's
doing
good.
all those territories.
Yeah, like definitely, I built my career around Dallas. I've kind of in Missouri, like when I was up there, I was just fighting because I wanted to wrestle, and then I fought in the off
Yeah,
season, and that was great because I got a lot of experience with amateur fights there. And then when I made my pro debut, Oklahoma and Texas is kind of where I built my career. It's just it was great because you get to fight, and it's kind of like you get to test yourself against people that are your same skill level. So like in the UFC, everyone's killers, but you might find someone that's a really good striker in LFA, but they don't have any ground game or something like that. But now, I mean, nowadays LFA is like tough as hell. So people got their work cut out for them. Everybody's so much more well-rounded now. So it's hard to get those big, like 8-0, 10-0 records. It's hard to get that nowadays. So just being back in the UFC it's been great. But this is where I belong, and I know I can hang with anyone in that in the top 20. So it's like getting the chance to get back in there and fight people. And I'm fighting Patsabatini, and he's ranked above me a little bit, but he's on a 4-fight win streak. I'm on a 3-fight win streak. So I think after this fight, the winner goes on to fight these big fights coming up.
now, going into that fight, of course, like we said, you're going up against Pat Sabatini. He has a high level cardio. He's very good with his jiu-jitsu and his grappling. How is that going to be test-wise for you? Because you guys, I wouldn't say you guys mirror each other, but you guys have similar traits when it comes
Yeah.
to fighting. And how are you preparing for that fight right now?
It's definitely going to be a tough fight for the grappling aspect. Like the wrestling is going to be tough, and the submitting him is going to be tough. So, I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up being a lot of stand up work, and a lot of boxing, a lot of kicks. So, I'm kind of training for everything right now. But at the end of the day, I'm a grappler. He's a grappler. So I bet the fight ends up going to the ground at some point. And so I'm gonna keep my wrestling, keep working my wrestling, keep working my jiu-jitsu like I always do. But I definitely have to add in some new work with, more kickboxing or more boxing. We'll play it out. I haven't had my meeting with coach yet, but we've kind of like discussed it a few times. But we'll have our meeting next week, and we'll get together on the exact game plan, what we want to see. So we'll go from there. But right now, I'm starting to ramp up wrestling and jiu-jitsu like normal, and we'll go from there.
And that's one of the part of the games with you that I like is the past couple of fights we've seen a lot more of the kickboxing side of you, whereas you've been using your hands a lot, fighting from a distance, and I've seen a lot of success with it. And how have you felt about your increased abilities in that field, considering that you are a grappling expert?
Yeah, I definitely, you always feel comfortable where you're like the best at. Like, I'm definitely the best on the ground, and I'll never be the striker that I'll be on the ground, like the grappler that I am on the ground. So that's something I'll always fall back on. And I don't care who I'm fighting. I'm definitely gonna, if I get a chance to like, take someone's back, I want to take their back. Or if I get a chance to lock up a guillotine, I'm gonna lock it up. So going into this fight, I know he's a good wrestler. He's a good grappler on the ground too, and off his back or on top, he's solid. So I'm going to be looking to defend the shots for sure. And then, if there's any chance of me getting in and throwing some boxing in there and maybe throwing a kick or two, that'll definitely be in there. But I'm going to be cautious everywhere because he's a very well-rounded opponent. Honestly, he's a safe fighter, so he'll be a tough challenge for sure.
Is there any reason why you like to just stay active? Because some fighters like to do the normal 3 month preparation and then go into a fight. But nowadays, you see everybody one to get in a fight within a month or two of their last one, depending on how much damage they took in the fight. Is it just something that you love the sport so much that you want to get in as much as possible, or is
Yeah.
there other reason behind it?
Yeah, I mean, everybody has different motivations for sure. But like for me, it's like if I'm training every day and I'm gonna miss something, like if I'm gonna miss my kids' practice or if I'm gonna miss, like a dinner with my family, I want it to be for like a reason. So I don't want to be missing things with my girls and my wife. I don't want to be missing things like that, and it not be for a reason. So for me, this is a very selfish sport. Like the time that I have to put in on training, the time that I put in with studying film and working with my coaches, all that stuff kind of adds up to it takes away from my family. So anytime that I spend in there, I want it to mean something. So when I have a fight, it makes a lot more sense for me to train the way I need to train. And when I don't have a fight, I kind of just want to be with my girls, and I want to change my training schedule up, and I want to make sure that I don't miss anything of theirs. So when I have a fight, it just it makes more sense to me to continue fighting.
Now, how do you keep a healthy balance of your work career and then your family? Of course, your family, because of course, yeah, you have a couple of kids, and then of course you're married. How do you make sure that you're able to balance both lives so that you're not just tipping it too much in one direction?
I think it's definitely that's a battle that everyone kind of faces, but like with any career, any like a doctor, anyone that has a career that you have to put time into like that, like you put in all the work to get to that point, so you can't let that go to waste. But at the same time, you got to be kind of a normal person and make sure that you're providing for your family, make sure you're present when you're around them, and make sure you're not like over committed on anything because if I overcommitted on fighting, I would lose out on all that time with my kids. And if I didn't commit to fighting the way I needed to, then I couldn't provide for my kids. So as long as I'm producing and I'm providing for them, I feel confident in me giving or taking away time from them. But I just never let anything get over my family. Like my family comes first, and that'll be who I am forever, no matter what career I have. My girls and my wife and my family are first 100%. And I think that a lot of people kind of get twisted with, they want the money, but they want it for the wrong reasons. And, I just want the money to give it to my family. But fighting is the selfish thing that I get to do to provide for them. So it's pretty cool that I get to continue fighting and still, give to my family like that.
Now, you've had the last two fights where I believe you fought in March, then you fought in June. both
Mhm.
fights were matchups where you're booked with somebody, and then a couple weeks out, you had to have somebody get replaced into the fight. How is that with training going into a fight, knowing that your opponent has just changed a couple weeks before the fight, not just
Yeah.
once, but twice? How do
Yeah.
you deal with that within training, and how do you kind of change things up in your training camp? Is there anything that you have to add into it, or is
Um,
it just you train the same thing no matter who you're fighting?
I mean, for me, it's kind of the same thing every fight. I'm always working on grappling, like wrestling and jiu-jitsu, because I know that I'm strongest there. So I know that somehow, some way, if I can get someone down, then I'm gonna, feel confident in that battle. But when people change up like that, it's kind of like nowadays you kind of have to be ready for it because people just do it now for just because they want to like not take a loss. But it looks really bad. The UFC doesn't respect it. So for me, whenever someone pulls out, it's never even a question on whether or not I'm fighting. It's just like that. I'm hoping they give me a fight. And then once they give me a fight, I do like like maybe like a 2 or 3 video walkthrough with my coach, and we discuss whatever it is. And then I kind of drill that same game plan the whole fight week, and we kind of go from there. But depending on how far the fight is out, I won't really change my game plan. If it's like real close, I kind of know what I need to do depending on whoever the opponent is. I kind of know what I need to do, but whatever my coach says is going to be my game plan. Then I kind of I can get it stuck in my head mentally just by having a conversation. But drilling is by far what you want to do that. You want to do that for sure.
Did you get anything done right after your last fight in June? Like any vacation, do anything with the family because you knew you
Yeah.
were just done and it's the summertime? Did you guys go do anything fun just to enjoy time with each other? And then after that, when did you know that you were going to have this fight with Patsabatini? When did you want to? When did you start trying to drill in a date and an opponent?
I was actually trying to get on the Dallas card, so I was hitting them up right away, and I said, "Hey, like put me on the Dallas card, please. Like I would love to fight here in Dallas." But then they came back like the next day and they said, "You're gonna fight Pat Sabatini on this day," and I was like, "All right, whatever. As long as I got a fight booked, that's cool." But I wanted to fight that last fight so bad because I had a vacation booked, and then out of nowhere, my manager called me and he was like, "Hey, we got this date," and I was like, "Oh man, that sucks." Like I had a trip planned with my girls because that was the week they got out of school, and so
Yeah.
whenever my opponent fell out, I moved my vacation, and then I got that fight day, and then when my opponent fell out, I was like, "Hey." Like I already moved my trip. I already told my kids that this is the day we're leaving, so I'm not changing it again. Like, give me an opponent, please. And so he came back like the next day, and he had an opponent. It was good to go. So I took that fight, and then we immediately went to Mexico. My wife and the girls, we went down there, and we spent a week down there, and it was a great time. And then we came back for a few days, and then me and my wife went down to Cabo with some friends, and then so we've just been chilling since then. And I'm building a house right now, so the house should be closing at the end of August or maybe right before my fight in September. And then once we move into there, we're probably gonna just chill for the rest of the year, and then we might go on a big trip next year to like Hawaii or somewhere like that. But yeah, always doing something.
How's that process of building a house? Has it taken a long time to just decide what you were going to do with it, or is it something that you've enjoyed having the process of getting it done?
Yeah, no, it was cool at first. We did everything last October, so it's been like a almost a full year before the house got done. But it was cool getting to go into the design center and design and pick out everything we wanted, and we spent so much freaking money. It was crazy. So that's a big reason why I'm motivated to fight. It's because I want to keep getting that money back. I don't want to see that out of my bank account. So. But it was a great thing. Me and my wife flipped a few houses before this, so this was cool to kind of build our forever home kind of thing. It's a big house, and it'll be good for the girls for the next 15 years or so, and be nice to get in there for sure.
What are some of the hobbies that you have outside of MMA to just keep your mind off of the sport? Since you train, you fight,
Yeah.
everything you live, breathe, just MMA. What are some hobbies that you have outside of it?
Fishing is definitely the number one, probably. And then, like me and my wife, we renovated our last house and we finished that up. But we also renovate campers. So we'll buy like a real beat up old camper and we renovate them, and that's a lot of fun too. But it definitely keeps me busy. When I get home from training, I look forward to like doing tile work or doing the plumbing on the campers and stuff like that. So once we get moved into the house, we'll start that back up, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying fishing. I didn't realize how many people in the sport like to fish. At least half the people that I've talked to have said
Yeah.
that one of their guilty pleasures is going fishing or just spending time out on the water.
Yep.
Now, one of the last things I wanted to ask you before I let you go is we got two big fight cards coming up. We got UFC London and then UFC 277 right there in Dallas. How do you feel about the two main events? Who do you think is going to win in between the Blades fight against Aspinall, and then who do you think is going to win in the Pena versus Nunez matchup?
Um, I think Blades pulls that one off. I think it's going to be a tough fight though, for sure. It'll be exciting. That whole card is pretty legit.
Yeah.
Darren Till's off the card. It kind of sucks for him, but and then like the Dallas card, it's gonna be a good card for sure. I think Moreno pulls off the win for sure, and then I think Pena's got her figured out. I think she kind of like called her bluff, and that's it. It's kind of like the Rousey thing. Like once she got figured out, then she's not going to win another fight. But I think that she comes forward and puts it in her face, and it's going to be an exciting fight either way. I think that she pulls it off though. I don't know if she gets a finish, but I think it'll be a decision her side.
It's been fun watching them two on the Ultimate Fighter, coaching those flyweights and the
Yeah,
heavyweights, especially seeing, I believe, your teammate Muhammad Usman on there.
yeah.
I believe he's getting ready to do that semifinal matchup this week on the show to solidify the finals matchups. How has it been seeing him on the show?
Yeah, I mean he's done great. We I haven't seen a lot of him training in our gym in a few months, so it's kind of we have a tight crew, so the people that are there training all the time is you kind of watch everything they're doing, and then he kind of went off and did his own thing, but he's looking great on the show. I think he has a good shot of winning it for sure, and hopefully he does. Hopefully he pulls it off.
Now, I do this with every guest at the end of the show. Is there anybody that you would like to give a shout out to, sponsors, friends, family, before we wrap this up?
No, man, just my team, man. Like, Fortis MMA, we're coming through this year, and everyone's looking great, and we got a lot of more fights this year, and it's gonna be a good year for us, and we want that respect. So just watch all the Fortis guys.
Well, Damon Jackson, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show. I wish you the best of luck in your next matchup against Patsabatini. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your summer.
All right, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Once again, that was Damon the Leech Jackson. He's going up against Patsabatini in his next fight in a couple of months. That'll wrap things up with today's Cage My IQ presents the interview with Damon the Leech Jackson. Before we wrap things up, I just want to get a shout out to our sponsor, High Tide Herbal. Use promo code CageMyIQ10 at checkout to receive 10% off your next purchase. And then, of course, we are Cage My IQ, best place for MMA content. You can follow and subscribe to us on social media at Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and YouTube. all you gotta do is go down and hit the subscribe button and notification bell on this video to make sure that you get all the content that we put out right away. And then, of course, please smash the like button down below and hit us up in the comment section and let us know what you think of the interview with Damon Jackson and how you feel like he's going to do in his next fight against Patsabatini. But other than that, I'm your host, Cage, and this is Cage My IQ, and we will see you guys next time for another interview on Cage My IQ Presents. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good day. See ya.